Welcome to the neighborhood meeting for the Benton Park Liberty Animal Hospital Official Development Plan, or ODP, amendment. I am Amy Johnson, the reviewing planner for the City of Westminster, and I will be giving you an overview of the project's review status before the applicant presents to you. However, first we would like to outline some points of procedure and etiquette for this meeting. Please keep your comments courteous. The most productive conversation starts with respect. Questions and comments will be read aloud with your name after the applicant's presentation. Please keep your questions and comments relevant to the application being considered. If you do have questions or comments that do not pertain to the application, please email planning@cityofwestminster.us and you will be put in contact with the appropriate staff related to your questions or comments. For additional information regarding the city's social media commenting policy, you can visit the webpage shown there. And please note this meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the city's YouTube channel at the link at the bottom. Excuse me. Here is our agenda for this evening. Next, I will be going over the process for submitting questions and comments, then the project location review process and standards for approval, and then the applicant will make their presentation. Then will come the question, answer, and public comment segment, and we will end with next steps. If you do have a question or comment for either the city staff or the applicant team, you may type it into the chat box throughout the presentation. When entering a question or comment, please stay on topic. Please be mindful that your questions and comments will be read aloud with your name after the applicant's presentation and included in the recorded video, which will be on YouTube. If time allows, after the text questions and comments are addressed and someone would like to speak their question, we will open it up there. If that is the case for you, please type in to this question box, "I would like to speak," and a staff member will let you know if or when you may speak. The project is located within the Benton Park subdivision, which is at the northwest corner of 112th and Sheridan. There is a closed emergency medical center built at the southeast corner of this Benton Park subdivision. The official development plan, or ODP amendment, for lots 3 and 4 proposes to shift the lot line, construct a building, parking, and landscape for an animal hospital on lot 3. We do have these meetings early on in the process in order to ensure that neighborhood input can be incorporated. So once the application has been submitted, it goes through one round of staff review, then we have the neighborhood meeting, then we have further staff reviews as needed, and the final decision for this amendment will be by the Planning Commission at a public hearing. If they do approve it, applications for construction drawings and building permits will be reviewed and approved administratively once they are found to comply with the approved ODP and all relevant requirements. Section 11.515 of the Westminster Municipal Code establishes that 17 criteria shall be considered in reviews, covering parking spaces, stormwater drainage, pedestrian connections, traffic and peak trip accommodations, compatibility of design with surrounding area, conformance with the comprehensive plan and all city codes and ordinances, and consistency with the existing Benton Park preliminary and official development plans. Ensuring these standards are met involves reviews by many members of staff. Now the applicant will make their presentation for this project.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate the introduction. I'm Jim Fitzmaurice with JR Engineering. We're handling the preparation of the ODP for the owner, Dr. Aris, who has an existing practice in the area. If you want to go to the next slide, I can go through some of the project. There's the vicinity map, which you already saw. The next slide, please. Dr. Aris has a veterinary hospital in the city right now that he's leasing at 92nd and Sheridan. It's been serving the community for about 5 years. This project, as you stated, is on 2 lots that he's purchased in the business park, Benton Park Business Park. The new building's gonna be approximately 7,763 square feet on about a little over an acre of the property that he owns. We're working with a landscape architect company, and as well as architects that Dr. Harris has hired. Mike, which I can't remember the name of this company, but he's the architect for this, and he's preparing the building elevations. And Mike Mathis, and I don't remember the name of his company, I'm sorry, but he can add a little bit of color here in a couple slides, talk about the materials on the building that's being proposed. We're looking at the expectations. We have somewhere between 15 and 30 employees, which be an increase as Dr. Harris expands his practice. We'll be providing landscape screening and a visually appealing building for the city. This business park has been in the area for a pretty long time, and it's been anticipating these types of uses. And so with the market right now, we have there's some opportunities for some professional services and other type of businesses to go in. There's a dental office that's going in right to the north of us, and it's another benefit of our project. Will provide another access to the North Suburban Medical Center, which is south of us. We're not sure of the status of that project, but they're currently closed right now. But we're providing additional access for them. I don't know if there's anything else on that slide, or if you just want to move on to the next one. I can't see the bottom of it. Okay, and here's kind of our site plan. Basically, we'd be providing landscaping along the east and north sides. Access will be off of 113th. The parking is going to be away from Sheridan on the west side and the south side of the building, as you see on the site plan. This is the site plan that we submitted to the city, generally with a few minor tweaks to the footprint of the building. And I think we've made the parking on the west side parallel instead of diagonal that we had on the submittal, but it's generally everything looks just like what we're proposing here. There's going to be a small area on the northwest side of the building, which is for relief of the patients and not for any kind of dogs or to be out there for any length of time. They're going to be supervised and usually leashed, so that's a small area there, but otherwise this will be self-contained. If you want to go to the next slide, I think Mike can tell us, he's with Linden Group, I think it is, and he can tell us a little bit more about the building elevations and materials that are being proposed.
Thank you, Jim. My name is Mike Mathis with Linden Group Architects and RWE Design Build. I'm just going to talk a little bit about the architecture of the building. We're proposing sort of a clean, modern architecture with natural materials of cast veneer stone, veneer brick, metal panels, and fiber cement wood look panel, which you see over the entrance. The entrance, which is shown on that top slide where you see the glass with the wood over it, is accented with a raised roof with higher ceilings, glazing, and that wood look panel, and then topped off with a metal cornice look that has sort of a little bit of an eyebrow step out overhang. Details on the rest of the building as we wrap around include cornice treatments at the top of the parapet walls, top of the walls of the stone and the brick that you sort of see accented in the dark metal as you look at the elevations of each side. And also metal canopies that surround or over windows on every elevation. So we've kind of included that as just to add some architectural detail and address the building as a four-sided building. The last thing to point out is our building does provide full screening for our rooftop mechanical, where we are all screened by our parapet walls, which is the height the wall extends past the roof. The materials are represented on the right. You see this is the fiber cement wood look panel, the cast stone look veneer. There's a darker base material that goes underneath the stone, and then a lighter gray brick that's also used to sort of create a rhythm of materials as we wrap around the building with detail. With that, I will conclude. Architectural, Jim, you want to conclude with anything else on the next
Yeah, I
slide?
thought maybe Dr. Harris, did you want to say a few words and for the neighbors that might want to look at this later on and for the city?
Yes, I am Dr. Eris Arakem with Liberty Animal Hospital, and we've been serving this community for about 5 years over at 92nd and Sheridan. And we have come to the point where we grew out of our space. We don't have enough space right now. So we came across this space over at Benton Park. So we're looking to build our own facility there and hopefully move there in the next 8 to 10 months and continue to serve our clients, but also new clients in that neighborhood.
Great, thank you.
Welcome.
Next slide. I don't think we had any more, really, did we, Amy, that we needed to look at?
That is the end of your presentation.
Yes, thank you.
Here we go. So again, I don't know if anyone else has joined us, but if you do have a question or comment for staff or the applicant, please type it into the question or chat box. Be mindful that your questions and comments will be read aloud with your name and included in the recorded video, which will be on YouTube. If time allows, we'll open to speakers. If you would like to speak your question aloud, just type "I would like to speak" in that same box, and a staff member will let you know when you may speak. And we did receive an email comment and some questions, which I will now go ahead and read aloud. There are 3 parts, and the applicant has a response to all 3, and we'd have a brief city response to the first one. So the first one is, all 3, excuse me, are from Wendy Stell. The first part is new build versus existing. She says, I assume Liberty Animal Hospital is seeking a larger facility than their current location at 92nd and Sheridan. However, this will be the 3rd new construction at the northwest corner of 112th and Sheridan. The Health One Northwest Emergency Center has been closed since March of 2020 and obviously does not intend to be of any future use to the community. Why wasn't that facility with parking and utilities already in place considered for purchase and remodel by either the in-progress dentist's office or this animal hospital? The glut of new builds and prolonged construction times everywhere in Westminster is out of control, especially when there is so much controversy about the expense of water supply and maintenance. Perfectly good, already plumbed spaces sit empty year after year, becoming unprofitable eyesores. The city portion for this response is that the city does not and cannot get involved in private property transactions other than to ensure that any proposed use of an application that comes to the city does comply with the comprehensive plan designation. Now I will ask the applicant to give their response to that part before proceeding to the next part.
Thank you, Amy. We have not evaluated the Northwest Emergency Center for our intended use. We were unaware that the property was for sale during our market search. We found the proposed property to be a great fit for our new building to expand our business with the state-of-the-art built-to-suit veterinary clinic. At this point, we are financially committed to the proposed site.
Yeah, this is Jim. I might add, obviously, that this business park has been existing for quite a long time, over a decade, and that the owner of that has obviously put a lot of infrastructure in to allow these type of businesses, and so that the fact that they've sold this property for this use, I think certainly makes a lot of sense to us and to the for this business park. Like I said, they've they're having to maintain the roads and the landscape over these many years, and are looking for additional uses that are appropriate for the property. So I have talked with the owner over the past, and that's kind of the situation with the property. So go ahead.
Thank you. The next part is about noise. There is an animal care clinic, she writes, in Lafayette, a quarter mile from my eye doctor. That's what she says. Continuing with what she wrote, every time I go for an appointment, the animal noises are very loud and somewhat distressing. My home is approximately the same distance from the proposed hospital site. I already hear noise from Sheridan Boulevard. I don't wish to hear a cacophony of sick and lonely animals. When my husband and I were looking for a house, we researched noise sources very carefully, having lived within range of 2 high schools with Friday night football and marching bands. This neighborhood is quiet. And now the applicant response. To that part.
I think I'm unmuted there. We are not aware of the referenced animal clinic in Lafayette, the use, design, or practice, whether or not it includes any boarding or daycare of animals. The proposed veterinary use is enclosed within the building. The building envelope, walls, and roof are designed to contain animal noise within the building. RWE Design Build, our developer builder, has designed and built over 300 animal hospitals around the nation, and noise is sort of a big game that we play. We know how to build buildings to contain noise, both from inside to out and from within the building. It's important that we keep our public client spaces separated noise-wise from our back of house spaces. I want to point out that the proposed use also does not include overnight boarding or daycare. And also I wanted to point out, as you may have noticed, there's a fenced outdoor area indicated on the plan that will be utilized for relief only for patients, that will be supervised at all times and at most times on leash. And it will not include outdoor play.
Thank you. And finally, the third part of her question is regarding disposal. How will the inevitable disposal of animals which will have to be put down be handled? Will there be a crematory on site? Will this pose an air quality issue to the surrounding homes?
The euthanized animals are temporarily stored within the facility in a freezer and are picked up by a contracted crematory service vehicle when required in accordance with state and federal guidelines. There is no proposed crematorium. There will be no impact on the surrounding area air quality due to the proposed veterinary use or due to the euthanized animal disposal.
Thank you. And I cannot see if anyone has entered any further questions or comments at this time. Could I get a confirmation from John or Jennifer?
I do not see any questions or any comments in the chat.
Thank you, John. Okay. So just to wrap up, the next step in the review process will be for the applicant to address staff and any actionable neighborhood comments, and then submit for another round of review, or probably multiple rounds of review before going to Planning Commission. If you would like to stay in contact with the city about any of this, you can email me at ajohnson@cityofwestminster.us, or you may call me as well at 303-658-2098. You may also follow the project on our development status webpage at the website listed here. And if you would like to contact the applicant, you can go back in this presentation on YouTube, and his contact information was on it was Jim Fitzmaurice on the last slide of their presentation, or you may ask me as well if you would like. This will conclude our neighborhood meeting. Thank you for watching, I suppose. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.